All right.
So, welcome to the call. Welcome. I believe we are at lesson 4, and this is a good point to be at right here. So lesson 4 is a good lesson. All of them are good, but it's where we talk about our first homework lesson that we had, and then get into some very important things that we need to know when it comes to trading. But I'm gonna turn it over to you, Barbara, so we can get going.
Yes, sir. And here is our futures commodities trading group disclaimer. Trading and investing carries a high level of risk. You could lose some or all of your investment. Trading commodities or any other financial instrument may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. We accept no liability for any losses or damages you may incur. This means that you alone are responsible for your actions in any trading or investing activities. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Wright.
Thank you. So, as always, we like to get started with talking about and going over quizzes that we might have had throughout the week. So, I always ask Melba or Barbara if they could grab that for me so that I won't have to try to find the telegram on my phone.
Do you have it, Dr. Melba? You're muted. Do you have it, or you want me to
No,
get
I
it?
have it as long as you continue admitting people in the room, because I was doing that while you were.
Okay, yes, I will. Thanks.
Yep, I sure do. I think we had 2 of them. And the first one was, if you are looking for details about a particular commodity trading the futures market, you would look for A, the news, B, reports, C, contract specifications, D, videos, E, none of the above, F, all of the above.
Mm.
The answer is C, contract specifications.
See, contract specifications, Zoe and Jamal.
Yes, sir.
Anybody got something different from that, from C? That's our best source. That's the best source we can go to if we want some details about any commodity that we're looking at on the futures market. We want to go to the contract specification. You'll sometimes hear that being referred to as the contract specs, but that's where we want to go. We're going to get more details than going to a video, going to the news. Contract specification give us all the details we need to know about whatever that is we're looking at. That's the correct answer. Very good. What else do we have, Dr. Melvin?
Yeah, the second quiz, when an uptrend is being established, the market will make higher highs and higher lows. The answer choices are A, true, B, false, C, maybe, D, sometimes, E, never. When an uptrend is being established, the market will make higher highs and higher lows.
Shaw, what you think? Let me ask Shaw what she thinks. What you got, Shaw?
Hello. Sorry about that. I stepped away for a hot second. I'm going to go with true.
Go with true?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember that question a few times, and I think I got it incorrect the first class. And then I remember from the second class, I'm thinking it's true.
Johnny talks about this a lot.
Hopefully I'm right.
Yeah, we hear this a lot throughout the lesson. Johnny always talks about this, especially when we're looking at the charts, right? So, did anybody have anything different from what Shar said? She said true. Well, it sounds like everybody's starting to get this, Johnny B. The answer was
Yeah, I was
true.
going to
Yeah.
answer that. I answered that first question, G. The answer was call Delvin.
Oh, you added one more option on that G.
Yeah, call Delvin.
I do get calls throughout the week. Oh man. Well, Johnny, before we get started, you wanna say anything or you want to get into our homework?
I'm glad everybody made it. You know, you could be watching the Super Bowl, but I don't have a team in that hunt, so I figured it's best to be here. So let's get
Yeah.
into homework.
Awesome, man. Hey, did you know Alfie's daughter is performing with Usher tonight?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's get going. Johnny, we had our homework lesson, which is the movie that we like to watch after we have lesson 3. And movie is Limit Up. And movie we like to talk about and go over because you can get caught up watching and laughing or enjoying the movie and miss a lot of key details that are really good learning points. They drop a lot of nuggets throughout this movie if you're really paying attention. And I wanted to go over that homework lesson, and really I wanted to ask, for some takeaways. If anybody got any takeaways from the movie before we ask some direct questions. Anybody got any takeaways? I know Zoli said she just got through watching it, so you got a takeaway?
Yes, this is about my third or fourth time. So each time I get the more tech, this time I would say more in terms of looking at for me, it's more about the values and the emotions, not letting your emotions take over, and also the fame. It's just that fame, if you pursue in the pursuit of that, definitely, and the riches and the wealth, that's not it. Or you gotta really watch all of that. So it was deeper for me this time, more so than the first time.
Emotion really played a big key in this movie, didn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
you see a lot of different times where emotion came in, not just with Casey, but even with Chuck. Chuck got emotional several times, right?
Yes.
One time he had a heart attack. Yeah. So thank you. Good. Did anybody notice where the movie took place at? Was anybody paying attention to
Take
that?
place in Chicago,
Chicago Commodity Exchange.
Midwest Grain Commodities.
Yeah, in Chicago. And speaking of that, if you're paying attention, there's a very small part of the movie in the very, very beginning when they're in New York, at the very, very beginning. And then it goes to Chicago for the remainder of the movie. But if you go back and look at it again, you'll notice that they're in New York when it first starts. And then it goes to Chicago. Awesome. Well, let me ask you this. We talk about the style of traders that we can be when we get into the market. There's 2 styles of trading that we can be, and that's fundamental and that's technical. Can we see the examples of that in the movie? What type of trader was Chuck? Chuck was the older guy with, bald head guy he was losing his hair. Chuck was the business partner of Marty. But what type of trader was Chuck? Can anybody tell me?
Fundamental.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Shannon. He was a fundamental trader. He wanted the tips. He wanted the news. He wanted the hunch. He wanted the gossip. He wanted anything Casey could tell him. That's what he was trading off of, right? He wanted to know that she knew which way the market was gonna go. Give him a little tip. Now his business partner was Marty. What kind of trader was Marty?
This technical.
He was technical. We got an example to see both, right? Well, Marty was technical. He didn't want nothing to do with Casey and her tips or her hunch of what the market was gonna do. Actually, he told Johnny, what did he tell? He said he do what? What did Marty say?
Well,
The charts.
when they were talking about all these tips, he goes, I'm sticking with my charts.
Yeah. Sticking with my chart, you know. He said he don't listen to his intuition. He's sticking to his charts. And you got a chance to see Marty as a technical trader and Chuck as a fundamental trader. But let's talk about Casey for a minute. Anybody can tell me what kind of trader was Casey? It's a good one. What was Casey?
Both.
Wow, sounded you on fire.
I watched the
Casey
movie a lot of times.
Casey was both, right? She listened to Nike. She wanted her tips to find out what was gonna happen. She was asking Nike, what was the market gonna do, and she also, studied and looked at her charts as well. She was both. So we got a chance to see technical, fundamental, and both. Awesome. John, you got any questions? Because I have some more. I wanna see if you have something you want to ask.
I got one that I'd like to ask. From what we saw in the movie about the floor, if you went to the Chicago Board of Trades now, would you see that same action going on now?
No, you would not. It's all mechanical now, or automatic.
Yeah, it's all electronic now.
Mhm.
Look at Lana. Go ahead, Lana.
I'm sorry, I thought I was on mute.
Oh. Well, another question that I think we should talk about when it comes to this movie is the fact that Casey wanted to be a trader, and that was something she really wanted to be. And it's not easy getting down in that pit, getting to become a trader in the pit. And they didn't make it easy for you to get in the pit. And the guy she worked for at the time, when she was trying to become a trader, he definitely wasn't making it easy for her. But she stopped him one day after work and said that she really wanted to be a trader. If somebody like him would just give her a chance, she wanted to be a trader. And he asked her about the market that she trades. Does she understand what it is that he trades? Can somebody tell me what did he say about the market that he trades?
Said it was the most important commodity. I believe it was soybean that she was trading because she wanted to be a soybean trader.
Absolutely. Yeah, y'all watched this movie, didn't you? Yeah, he actually corrected her. Then Jamal, she said that it was one of the most, and he said, no, it is the most important. Absolutely. Johnny, you got anything else about the movie?
There's a lot to it. One of the things that we talk about when we talk about, well, first of all, the hand signals, was a lot, but the number of contracts that were being traded, I thought was really important to see. I mean, it's like, you know, when they got the news about Russia, when the Merrill Lynch or whoever came in to buy the million contracts or whatever it was,
10 million, Johnny.
10 million contracts. What kind of trader was that? What kind of trader were they?
Institutional trader.
Right, institutional, but what do we call that?
Y'all remember the different types?
Yeah, we're talking types now. So we knew there was a commercial, producers, work with.
Speculator. Large speculator.
Say it
Yeah,
again?
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Large
Yeah.
speculator. Okay. Speculator.
There you go. And Johnny, on that same line, when you talk about the fact of the contracts that were being traded, y'all remember when Casey had became a trader and she was doing well, and then she started being successful as a trader, and they were leaving out the exchange really happy and celebrating that they had a great day that day. I think she made $400,000 or $500,000 that day. But if you remember what happened, Beans was only up 2.25 that day.
Yep.
So how in the world did she make high six figures and the market only went up 2.25? How did that happen?
Somebody tell me.
Remember the point value for soybeans, right? Well, first of all, what's the point value? 1 cent equals how much?
Come on, folks. Y'all know this.
$50 here.
$50.
$50.
Correct. 1 cent equals $50. And I said the market went up how many cents? 2.25.
A quarter.
So that would be 112.50, right? If it went up 2.25. So, well, how did she make 400,000 if it only went up 2.25?
They had a whole lot of contracts.
Say it again, Thor. Make sure they hear you.
Okay. They had a whole lot of contracts.
A whole lot of contracts. That's why she was able to make that kind of money with the market only moving 2 cents. When you trade with a lot of contracts, the market don't have to move that far to make that kind of money. So one contract, that would have been 112.50. But you can do the numbers and find out it was a lot of contracts to make 400,000 off of that move. Another, Johnny, when you said something about Russia, you know, they talked about the fact that the market will react in a frenzy if you mention the word Russia anywhere around the exchange. And that was due to the fact that at that time, Russia was the #1 importer of U.S. grains. And any mention of Russia, the market would go crazy. And there was a crop report coming out that day. And when the crop report came out, it turned out to be that the grains went to Russia. When the grains went to Russia, what happened? What did the market do when that news came out?
It went limit up.
Did everybody pay attention to that? What happened? I don't know if y'all paying attention, but not only was that the name of the movie, but the market, it made a limit move when the news came out, to the point once it came limit, trade stopped. And they showed you the example how the market hit limit And that was it for the trading. We talk about when we went and looked at the contract specifications. We talked about the fact that there could be a limit on most of the commodities that trade. Some of them don't have limits, but most of them do. And so being hit the limit, and that was end of trading for that day. Got a chance to see that. Johnny, two people fell in love and got married, but at the wedding, something happened. What happened at the wedding, Johnny? Talk to us about the wedding.
I think there was a delivery. It was a
So
delivery of some soybeans.
So what happened, y'all, for a delivery of soybeans to come to the house? Why did that happen? Why would a load of soybeans get delivered to the house?
Nike told her. Nike says, "Oh, it looks like somebody forgot to close out a trade."
Yeah, it was giving you an example of what happened if you still got a contract that you didn't liquidate, right?
Yeah.
We know this was for the movie, but this was an example of what could happen if you still got a contract and it's time for that contract to come due.
Actually, I think it would be a little bit more like you would get a phone call from the broker. How are you going to settle this out? Because
Yeah.
you owe for, let's say, in that instance, it was 5,000 bushels of corn, of soybeans.
And I want y'all to know that, this was a movie. So some of this was for entertainment, for the movie. But I want y'all to know 5,000 bushels is a lot of soybeans. And one thing I can tell you, a dump truck can't deliver 5,000 bushels.
No.
That wasn't even close to 5,000 bushels, was it, John?
No, sir.
Yeah, that's not enough. But that was just for the movie. But there's so much that you can learn and take away from this movie. And I love the fact that Casey, got to a point of believing in herself and starting to trust herself that she could be a trader. She didn't need Nike's help to be a trader. She had to get to a point of believing and having the confidence in herself that she could do it. And she always could do it. She just didn't believe in herself that she could. And that's a lot of what we have to do ourselves. We got to believe that we can, we can do this. Sometimes we question whether or not this is something that we can do. And we see other people doing it, but we question whether or not we can. But you have to do the work, do the lesson, and believe that you can do it, because you can. If I can learn how to do it, you can too. And that's the lesson that I got from Casey, is that once she believed in herself, she really started and became a good trader. But Johnny, one more thing I wanted to talk about is Casey, she when she got to a point of not wanting to keep going along doing the stuff she was doing with Nike, she wanted to make things right. And she did something that you shouldn't do, but she wanted to make things right from what she had been doing. And he did something with some accounts that got her into some trouble. Talk about that, John.
Well, in the movie, they there was I think, if I remember exactly how it went, there was an effort to manipulate the market, which she went against. And in order to do that, what she did is she sold a bunch of contracts from the producers' accounts, correct?
Yeah, she got those farmer accounts and went to work, didn't she?
Right? Which caused the U.S. government, which caused the price of the soybeans to drop tremendously. Okay, so there's a lot to learn in that particular part of the movie, which means when you're going to see this a lot of times, especially when you're looking in the contracts, where a bunch of people will sell short the market. All right. And when you do that, you drive the price down because you're selling. And then all of a sudden, actually what it was talked about, the government would come in and buy up a bunch of that corn for aid or whatever they're going to do with it, which stabilizes the market, right? But in reality, what happens is all those short traders towards the end of the period will then have to liquidate those short positions, which means they've got to buy back the market. Okay, so that's really, if you look into that particular part of the movie, it really has a lot to learn, not so much about what the government would do, but what happens when all those shorts, it's called a short squeeze. All of a sudden now, all those shorts are buying back to those contracts. And if there's more buyers than sellers, then the price rockets up the opposite direction, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what her attempt was, she was trying to corner soybean, and she was doing a good job at it, but Nike got upset and made the boards go down, and she wasn't able to buy and get out of those positions. That was her plan. But she did drive the price down pretty good though. Real good. Those farmers made out real good on that. And also, who can tell me how much they talked about how much it costs to get a seat, to get a spot in that pit, in that soybean pit? How much money did it cost to get a spot in the pit? If you wanted to be a trader down in that soybean pit, how much would it cost you?
I didn't get a chance to see the movie, but is it $100,000?
That was 500.
It's a good guess.
Was it 500,000?
500,000. Absolutely.
500. Wow.
I remember Josh showed us one time that there was another way to do it too, but that's what they talked about in the movie. You had to have 500,000 to get a spot in that pit. Well, who remember when Casey was putting in a trade? Oh man, when Tracy was putting in a trade, and she actually thought she was putting a trade in with her old employer, and she wasn't paying attention. She thought he was buying, but he was selling. And she went over to confirm to him, and he turned to the clerk and asked her that the order go in. Does anybody remember how much time he said when the order put in? How fast did it go around the world as soon as the order is placed?
Either 1.8 or 2.8 seconds. I know it was like in a split of seconds. It was definitely really quick.
Yeah, 3/8 of a second. He said it's all over the world that fast. Yeah. Yeah, that was mind blowing to me too. I was like, man, 3/8 of a second.
Delvin, Josh has got a great question in there. So when Casey made the 400,000, was she trading the front months or distant months, and how could you tell?
That's a question.
Yep.
Okay, who got it? Anybody? Nobody? Nobody want to take a guess?
The one that must be ready.
My wife Kelly says the front months.
Front month. Anybody else?
Can I say something? She had to been trading the front month because if the board, if it was a distant month, when the board went down, she would still have time to get out. So I'm thinking she had to been trading the front month because she couldn't get out of the trade in time. But I could be incorrect. That's my thought process behind it.
Doctor, you want to get an answer?
Good answer, but not correct.
Oh, go ahead, John. Seems like you know.
No, go ahead, Josh, please.
Oh, yes. So the way you can tell is the move was only 2 cents and she made 400,000. So she would have needed a lot of contracts, as Zelvin said. But with that many contracts acquired, there are position limits on the front month, and they're much smaller than the distant months. So it's impossible to trade that many contracts on the front month. That's how you know.
Thank you. I was way off in my thought process, but thank you.
Yeah. If you do the numbers on that, you'll see that she had a lot of contracts.
But the answer, what you were saying, Melba, was look, at the end of the day, at the end of the trading day, you've got to make all those contracts good in the money that you've got.
Correct.
So if you didn't have the money in your account and you've got a loss because you couldn't get out of them, you had to put that extra money up.
Correct.
At the end of, so that had to, no matter where that is, when you place those trades, you've got to square your account by the end of the day.
I agree. Okay.
If y'all remember one particular time, she sold 200 contracts by mistake, and Chuck was about to have a heart attack, and they bought 200. He said, "Well, we got to try to break even. Where you think the market's gonna close?" And she wasn't sure, so she looked over at Nike and found out that it was gonna be up, and they were able to break even on that trade. I don't know if y'all remember that, but he said, "Man, we could go on margin call. This could cost us everything." And they were able to get out and break even. But at that particular time, it was 200 contracts. But on that 400,000 she made, she was trading with a lot of contracts. But Johnny, let's move on into our lesson. And I wanted to talk about, before we get into anything else, I want to start out by talking about the type of orders that we can place when we when we put in our trades. There's two type of orders that we use, or most commonly used in the market. Anybody can tell me what those two type of most common orders are? What are the two most common used orders? Nobody knows one of them?
One might be a limit order.
One is a limit order. Thank you. Very good. Anybody know the other one?
Market order.
Market order. Those are the two most common used orders. when it comes to placing our orders. Now, when it comes to putting these orders in, the limit order, when we place a limit order, we can do a couple of things, Johnny. Talk to us. How can we use that limit order? How can we place a limit order?
I'm sorry, I was in the other room for a second, but when you're placing a limit order, that way you're making the market come to you. All right. So
can we determine the time frame how we want this order to be filled?
Oh, absolutely. So in other words, when we place a limit order, typically, for me, it'll only be a day order. By the end of the day, if it didn't fill, I'm one out. Right.
Write that down. He said it can be a day order.
Right. You can do a good till cancel. Okay.
Write that down. He said good to cancel.
So let me ask you. So let me ask a question. If I put a stop loss order in, that's basically a limit order, correct?
Correct.
With the time frame being good till cancel.
Good
All
to
right.
cancel.
It acts like a limit order, but stop loss orders are actually market orders.
You're correct, Josh. Because once it hits that limit, it then becomes a market order. Once it hits that limit, no matter whatever the price is, boom, they're gonna sell out. They're gonna place a sell order at that time. Correct, Josh?
Yep, and there's also a thing called a stop limit order. So it's basically works like a stop, but instead of it being a market order, it is a limit order, but they're pretty rare.
Right. Okay. So we've got. Go ahead.
Well, go ahead. We don't have. I was gonna mention get into stop loss next, but you kind of basically covered it. But I'll touch on it a little bit more in a second. But Johnny, tell us, what does the good to cancel mean? If we place a good to cancel order, that means that order is still working. What does that mean?
That means, it means that order will remain open until it's filled. Now, there's some other orders that we don't use to talk about much here, and that's other all or nothing. In other words, I want to fill. If I put an order for 10 in at this price, I want it all filled at this price or none of it. This is used in stocks quite a bit. But I know we've never really talked about that one before. And Josh actually gave a list of all the different order types that we can place, which is a bunch.
Yeah, that's
Barbara, do we still have that list?
It's in our Telegram.
Yes, I'm posted it now. Back down to the bottom.
So it's important when you get ready to place your order, remember what we write it down so we know exactly what we're going to say. Okay. I think you make a very good point. If you're dealing with a broker, usually in the daytime, he'll go over everything with you and, kind of keep you out of trouble. But if you call after hours, all those people are order takers. And you need to know exactly what you're saying when you get ready to place that order.
Absolutely. And to go back to that good to cancel order, just to be a little bit more on that good to cancel order. A lot of times you may hear us referring to GTC, and that's just abbreviation, but that means the same thing. as good to cancel. If you hear somebody say GTC, same thing. But most of the time, at most brokerage firms, a good to cancel order is working until that order is filled, or 90 days at that particular time. It's about the longest they want to see a limit order working, and then you can cancel and replace the order. But 90 days is typically about as long as most firms like to see a working limit order, good to cancel order working. So on the stop loss too, I wanted to just talk about that for a second, because we keep hearing that word, stop loss, and we can use a stop loss when we trading. And in our rules, we say that we always use a stop loss when we trade. And there's a couple ways we can use the stop loss. It works in our favor to have a stop loss, because when we're trading, we can use that stop loss to help us limit our risk in the market. And we also can have that stop loss to help us to protect some of the profits that we're making, lock in profits along the way in the trade by moving the stop loss. And I teach, people to learn how to use what's called a trailing stop. To use that when you're trailing in a trade, where we can use our stop loss to limit how much we want to risk when we get into a trade, and we can use that stop loss to also trail our trade to lock in profits to protect us when we making some money in the market as well. So stop loss has a couple of ways they can be used and help us when we're trading. If there's anything else y'all want to add, or we can move on from the orders.
V put a question in the chat. She said, can you please say again what a limit order and a market order is?
Can you say what they are?
Yeah, can you say what they are? Excuse me.
So when we place the market order saying that we want our order to be filled at the current price where the market is trading at that time. That's a market order. And your order could get filled at the last price, or it can get filled at the ask or the bid. So it's a real, it's a real risk you take when you put a market order trade in, because you're not really sure what price you're gonna get filled at. Because there could be an ask or bid, and then the current price of the last price that the market traded, and you get filled based on where the market currently trading when your order is filled. That's a market order. A limit order is when we determine what we want to get in the market. We want the market to come to us. We want the market to come to the price where we are comfortable, or what we say we want to get into the market at. And we place our order, whether it's a buy order or a sell order, we place our order to get filled at a particular price. That's a limit order.
They were in the clinic.
I gotta tell y'all something before I forget about it though. When we having a conversation with my broker the other day, and sometimes when we get a chance to talk and the market's slow, things slow down, sometimes we stay on the phone a while and just talk. And he was sharing with me that he had just downsized to just one monitor, just one screen. That he didn't need all these screens. And if you see this post behind me, with this background behind me, with all these monitors, this is how his desk used to look. And he said he never needed all that, but a lot of times you see people with all these monitors because it looks sophisticated, right? Or it looks fancy, like they doing something that required them to need all these monitors. And he said he never needed all those monitors to begin with, and he downsized to one. And but we was talking, and he was just saying that he had a couple of guys that he had recommended, to come to our call, come to take the course. And one of the particular guys, he said he'd been trying to get this guy to take a course or something. for a while. And he said, then I'm fascinated by the fact that sometimes people open an account, fund their account with quite a bit of money, and they have no plan of what they're gonna do or how they're gonna trade. And he said he asked the guy several times just to find out where he was getting his trading ideas or strategies from. And he said he just Googled Yahoo, and that's how he come up with what he wanted to trade, by just Googling Yahoo. And then he called the broker and placed a trade based on whatever he read on Yahoo. And my point is that we go over the rules for a reason. You got to have these rules if you want to have, a chance at being successful in the market. And he was sharing with me that this guy has placed 26 trades, and he hasn't had a winning trade yet. And he's still going to Yahoo doing the same thing, and not willing to stop doing that. But he's 0 for 26 with the trades, and he still keeps going to Yahoo. We got to have a plan, and we got to follow the plan. But you can't just get in the market and not have a plan. And I was listening to that, and I couldn't help but think about the rules that we go over and we follow. And it's so important to have these rules, because not everybody's following rules. But if you place 26 trades and you not had a winning trade yet, you got to figure out what you're doing wrong. I've been there before, and I knew I was doing something wrong, but I had to stop the bleeding. And I hope this guy do the same thing. I hope he stops the bleeding at some point. But right now he's not listening to his broker. But I just want to share that, because we follow rules when it comes to trading. And I want y'all to know that if you have these rules and stick to them, it will help you have a better chance at being successful when it comes to trading. Just Googling something and then going trading, that's not a good plan. So I can't tell nobody what to do with their money, but just have a plan when you get in the market. Johnny, what else did you want to go over?
Well, I think it's important that you complete this course to keep coming back. It'll all come together, and then, put it into practice. First, paper trading. When you get confident, then put your money in. I get a kick out of it. You were saying he goes to Google. You'd think whatever information he had got, if he was 0 for 26 or whatever, he would start doing the opposite of what he was doing.
I learned something new, I guess, because I'm not in tune to a lot of stuff like that. But I didn't know Yahoo had any business or financial information on Yahoo. But I learned that was a Yahoo Finance that he was going to. And he goes to Yahoo Finance and reads on Yahoo Finance, and then he calls the broker. And that's how he been trading. I was blown away, man.
Wow.
Well, is there anything else you want to cover? I know
No,
we went over the movie and talked about orders, man, and I'm looking forward to next week where we can get into the chart and talk about something called 50% retracement and 1, 2, 3 top and bottom formations that we like to look for on the chart. But that's what we're gonna get into next week. I love it when we start getting into the charts. So I'm looking forward to that. And got another homework lesson I want to go over when we get to going into the charts. The ladies did an outstanding video that I want us to all go and watch as homework after we go over the charts. And that's gonna be a homework lesson for us. So if we don't have anything else, Johnny, I want to open up for any questions or comments. But I think I forgot one more time. Barbara, you're gonna have to slap me on the wrist. Cause I still forget to go back to you
Oh,
after the
sir,
disclaimer. I'm sorry.
Julie has her hand raised, Mr. Wright.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Blair. Yes, you mentioned first to start for demo trading. You've gone to bar chart. Where do we go to start practicing using them to join the demo trading?
I'm gonna get this to the ladies. Dr. Melba, Barbara.
Well, when when we started, the easiest platform that we demo traded on is called TradeStation. And we also did a video on how to set up trades on TradeStation that's available to everyone in the group. So as we go along in the course, step by step, we'll tell you when you're at that point to start
okay.
opening up different accounts and start paper trading and things like that. So the first thing, like Mr. Wright said, the next homework assignment is barchart.com, where you learn how to look at charts, use
Okay.
tools and all of that to mark up the charts and study your charts so that you know when to enter a trade and when to get out of a trade. Once you figure that out, then you're ready to set up an account and start demo trading. But until you have that all planned out on paper, like Mr. Johnny says, you really are not ready to demo trade. You have to have a plan written out and follow that plan that's written out on paper.
Okay.
Mhm.
Perfect. I thought I was getting behind. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent.
Star
Excellent
has
question
her
and
hand.
excellent answer.
Star has her hand raised.
Yes, I do. So could you cover what would happen again if you're still in an order that has, I guess that has expired, I would say. So just to be more clear, I'm referencing to the movie when the soybeans were delivered to the wedding. So could you just go over like one more time in real life, like what happens, so I can just have a better, more clear understanding?
Okay. Josh, Johnny, either one of y'all want to answer that? Or y'all want me to?
Well, first of all, it's not something that you probably need to worry about, because the first thing, the first call comes up, and then, once you get there, you want to start getting out of your trade. And you've got another week or two before the expiration date. So it's not something that you really want to do. And I think that you were saying, Delvin, that if it got critical, your broker's going to be calling you anyway.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I don't know if there's a fail safe in your broker or not that says if you get past a certain point, they liquidate it anyway. But I don't think so. But you've got not something you need to worry about.
As a matter of fact, Johnny, I'm loving this question. Something just came to mind. Can you or Barbara share the screen and go to bar chart real quick?
You have to be Barbara.
Since we're talking about soybeans, Barbara, can we go to the specs for any contract month for soybeans?
Sure.
I want to show y'all something. Remember, we talked about one of our quiz questions was, where do we go to get information about commodity trading? The contract specs is what Jamal said, right? So what contract month is this?
Soybeans. Do you want to, which one?
Go to March. Go to
March.
March.
Okay. Come back up. Come back up. All right. Right toward the bottom of the contract specs. Can you move it up just a little bit, Barbara? You see down here? Okay, you, on the contract specs, I want y'all to see where it tells you what the expiration. Can you see that? What you pointing at, Barbara? What is that saying?
Look
It
at
says
first notice date.
First notice date is February 29th. That's
Okay, so
18
Johnny just
days.
talked about the first notice. He said that that'll be a first notice. Barbara just said that that's the first notice. When is that first notice?
February 29th.
Okay. February 29th. And then what's the next row?
Expiration date is March 14th, 32 days from now.
Okay, so on the contract spec, it tells you when the first notice. Most times you'll be out of the trade before the first notice. Now, I have had a situation where I was still in the trade and it was getting close to the first notice. And I was still in the trade because I was doing good in this trade. And I already knew I was gonna just do what's called a rollover. I was gonna roll over to the next contract month, but I hadn't done it yet. And because it was getting close to that first notice date, my broker called me. Said, Dev, I know you're aware of this. I just wanted to make sure you was thinking about what you're gonna do about this contract. I said, yeah, I know. I was gonna get out of it, but I went ahead and rolled over to the next month. But that's what Johnny was talking about. As you get close to this first notice date, if you don't get out of trade, in most cases, the brokerage firm gonna give you a call. 9 times out of 10, that's what's gonna happen. Very few deliveries take place from people who don't want to take delivery. When deliveries take place of a commodity, it's because the people wanted to take delivery. We don't get into soybeans because we want to have soybeans dumped in our driveway like what happened to Casey. We get into soybeans because we just trying to make a profit on the price movement of soybeans. We don't want soybeans, so per se, delivered to our home, our company. But you will get a call most cases if you still in it and it's getting close to that first notice date. And that's what happened to me. But I did a rollover and went to the next contract month. And what that is meaning that you can roll over to the next contract month and keep trading whatever commodity it was that you were trading. But this is what happens, Shaw. You always have a first notice date and even a second notice date and then an expiration date for whatever commodity that's trading. All you gotta do is go to the contract specs if you want to know, man, when is the first notice date? So these notices letting you know that it's getting close to expiration. Does this help, Shaw?
Oh yeah, actually I was aware of all of that. My question was though, what would happen if you fail to get out of the trade after the expiration date?
Well, you'll be Casey.
Oh, okay. So that really can happen in real life.
And I'm gonna be the driver. I'll be the one that's gonna deliver the beans to you.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, remember, you're dealing in a contract, and that contract's 5,000 bushels at a price. So you've agreed to pay a certain price. Okay, so if it's soybeans are, how much is it right now? Go up just a little bit.
11 something.
$11.83.5. So $11.83 times 5,000. They're going to be coming to your door asking for that money.
Okay.
Before it's delivered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that it doesn't happen, Shaw. Well, have you ever had a situation like that, Josh?
Yeah, with interest rates.
Oh yeah, I remember that, man.
Yeah, that was an embarrassing time, man. Hope that never happens again in my career.
What did
Oh,
they
man.
say? You had to borrow the money or you had to loan it?
No, the notes just ended up in the account worth 200 grand a piece.
I remember that. I remember that. Oh man, thank Barbara for sharing the screen. But Josh, man, if I want to take a second, if you don't mind, man, if it's all right with you, I just want to, give you kudos, man, and congratulations on your achievement, man. Your advisor achievement, and just recognize you for that, man. That was awesome. I know you did that a couple times last year too. But yeah, I just wanted to give you props on that, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
can we give Josh 2 seconds to explain what he does? Because I don't think every time that we're on here, he's a wealth of knowledge, but I don't think the groups that come through our classes have an understanding of what he really does. Because some people may be horrible at trading, and may need to link up with a professional. They may just not want to follow the rules, and they just may bleed money, and they just may not have the patience, and they may just bleed money and they get discouraged. But there are people that are among us that are professionals. And can we give him like 2 seconds to just explain to the group what he does? Because I don't think we have a great understanding of who he is. We
Absolutely.
understand who you are, who Mr. Johnny is, but yeah, we have
Absolutely.
no clue who Josh is.
So the comment I left in the chat was more of a joke. I'm a commodity trading advisor, and even though I said they hire a professional trade for you, I don't necessarily trade for people because they're bad at trading. So I offer an investment program, and it's really used for people to diversify their portfolio. So there's different CTAs, and different programs behave different. And when you mesh it with your own portfolio, it can improve your portfolio. And that's completely based on how the program behaves. So if you're heavily invested in stocks, you want something that is more negatively correlated to the stock index, and you just have to look at each program and see how it fits in your own investment portfolio.
Thank you,
Awesome,
Josh.
I don't know if I helped anybody with the understanding of that. So yes, I do trade for people, but I have a systematic program that I run.
Yeah, and then on that post that you shared, you was number 4 or number 1?
So there's different what do you call them, like databases, and one of the large ones, I think it was Autumn Gold that I posted that on. I'm currently number 2 on Option Traders. And I was number 8 for the top 10 CTAs, and there's thousands of them. But it looks like Dunn Capital posted both of their programs late, and I got bumped out of the top 10. So, but I'm still
Sorry, you was in there though.
yeah, I was in there until they knocked it out the park. I think they had a 9% return for the month of January, which it blew everyone out the water. No one got close to that.
Whoa. All right, man. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah, keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions or comments before I turn it over to Barbara? Because I keep getting in the doghouse with Barbara.
You are not in the doghouse, Mr. Wright. If there are no more questions, just want to let everybody know again, get excited, get ready for the month of April. That's our travel and trade retreat. This is year number 2. It's going to be awesome. You want to be there, to be in person. It's one thing to be on Zoom, but it's another thing to be in person where you can just pick the brain of one of the greatest mentors in the world, and others that will be there to get strategies and secrets, things that you never heard of, that you have to be there in order to get. So you want to be there. If you're looking to, you know, change things in your life, do business differently, then this is the retreat that you want to be to. So I'm gonna post the link for it in our group again. Go in, if you hadn't looked at it, take a look at it and get signed up. We want to see you there April the 11th through the 14th. We have a lot of special things planned, surprises for those, for you guys who's gonna be there. You're gonna have fun. I promise you, you will enjoy, you will not be dissatisfied at all. It's gonna, every day we got something planned for you. So get ready, everyone.
Pop, I understand that that you've been real busy. They've been keeping you busy with the people registering and reaching
And
out.
they
inquiring
have, they've
about
been keeping me on my toes. I've been really super busy with this, but it's really, really fun. So yeah, we have a lot of people that's ready. People have been waiting for something like this in person where they can learn one-on-one. People have been waiting and we're ready. I'm excited about April. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm ready to get there.
Man, thank you, Barbara. Thank you. I think we're done with all the questions and comments, and we can wrap this week up. And thank everybody for coming on, spending time with us tonight. Hope you receive value for jumping on the call. As always, please keep the eye on the group, on the chat, Telegram group for any quizzes that might be posted. And we will see you next week. Everybody have a blessed one.